Happy Monday morning, everybody. It is your buddy Choppadong, and it is video time. Time to come back with an NHL, or I'm sorry, NBA player pool. We'll do the NHL stuff later. NBA player pool, we're going to focus on Fanduel today. We'll focus on DraftKings tomorrow. The easiest thing that I have found is to narrow your research down quickly, cut the fluff, get the trash out of there, and only work with the more positive things. We're going to talk a little bit more going forward about some MME type strategies too. We've been dabbling a little bit there. I've been reading up, trying to figure out a couple of advantages, and I think I've got a few thresholds that we can really utilize. I'm already telling them inside to our VIPs, inside DFSArmy.com. The link to join is obviously down there in the comments section. Coupon code CHOP, CHOP, triggers 20% off. And if you get in here today and get in here tomorrow, you're going to start hearing those strategies before I refine them to the point that I leak them out to the public. I'm telling you right now, I'm kind of a brainstormer, and I kind of compile and kind of try, rough, raw. If you like that kind of that thought, and like everything, 100% of everything comes out of my brain, you need to be inside DFS Army. Not that my brain's the end all and be all. I don't mean to sound arrogant or anything, but I pretty much, when I think of something, I share it. And I share it to my VIPs first. And then when I organize it and get it to where it sounds coherent and sounds right, I share it to the public. But a lot of people like that really raw information, because sometimes stuff comes out of there when it just comes out of your mouth before you think it through. And just like when you're half asleep in the middle of the morning and you have a brainstorm, you have a great idea, a lot of times that's when that stuff comes out. It's when it's not quite refined to the point that you can really talk about it eloquently. Not that I talk eloquently anyway. Let's jump into the research pool here in a second. But let's first do a little bit of recapping, actually. Let's dive in this way. Show you the winners and the losers inside DFS Army today. Last weekend, roughly, what was this? This is NHL. Decent wins there. Wow, that's a good one. 42 into 1,600 in basketball. Nice score. NASCAR, winners. Is that more NASCAR? No, that's basketball again. 14 into 42, 16 into 26. So a lot of modest wins. There's a $2,000 winner. Nice. A lot of people, $400. A lot of multi-entry stuff, and that's the stuff that I want to start focusing on, is getting more of your core into this green area. So I think we can figure out how to do that and give ourselves more shots at the actual win, get deeper into the money. I really do think that MME principles are as safe as cash games, if that makes sense. I know everybody says tournaments. Look, it's my ladder theory going back 3 years now. If you take a few shots at something, you've got more of an increased chance that something's going to pan out. If you do one lineup every week, you can go weeks and weeks with nothing. If you cram 10 lineups into 1 week, you're going to have a lot of good, you're going to have a lot of bad. It's just a matter of how good and does it outweigh the bad. That's what the MME type stuff does. And if you've got that advantage to where you can ladder, win most weeks, ladder up, say 3 lineups and get 1 to hit pretty well, and you're hitting about a third of the time, MME could be something that's transcendent to your game and to your bankroll. And I'll show you a couple of examples here in a minute, but we'll talk more, like I said, inside the Army about the deeper picture. But you can just see NASCAR, NBA, first NASCAR with the Army, good job. First time doing NASCAR. These are, I guarantee you, if I quiz this guy or myself, I couldn't name 5 drivers. No clue. I couldn't. I mean, I probably can now. Jimmy Johnson's still around. Keselowski's been all right lately. The Bush brothers. Clint Boyer. There's 5. I mean, I could probably go on and might even get to 10. But bottom line is, I don't know the sport. I don't need to know the sport. I've got my expert coaches that are lining up the optimizers and lining up the player picks sheets that I can just kind of take who they think are the cash safe plays and who they think are more GPP pivots and take a few shots. And I'll tell you what, it works. How do I know it works? Scroll down here, get rid of this page, but you can see the winning. I mean, the Army just wins. It's what we do. How do I know that it works? So I come over here and I hit one yesterday. I mean, what are you going to do? Granted, it was a quarter contest, 7 entries, but 1 out of my 7, won the whole thing outright, quarter into $10. I play light. I don't care. But a quarter into $10 is pretty good ROI. When you look at the lineups that cashed, I think it was the top 4 here, all the way down to the 278. So 3 got close and 4 cashed. So 4 out of 7 ain't bad, especially when you win one. That's how you can post grind up profits inside. I think I was sitting at like $1.75 in, $1.87 out, or something ridiculous without that win. But the win, of course, turned it into like almost $12. So almost 2 in and 12 out, 600% ROI. I mean, if you only play quarters, that's how you can grind a bankroll, be positive about your game, and start thinking that maybe you can scooch up a little bit in some limits and stuff. That's fine. When you're trying something new, NASCAR, MME, whatever the strategy is, if you're trying something new, then you might want to play light in the beginning. If this keeps on working and keeps proving to me it's fairly consistent, oh, believe me, I'll bump my play. But for now, all right, just kind of grinding it up, checking it out, seeing what happens, seeing how on point our coaches are, and they are. The other thing I'll show you is hockey last night did not go so well. We had a 3-game slate, and I put in MME there, but I was allowed to put in 20 lineups. I only put in 10, and as a result, that was a detriment to me. 950 teams, top 400 or something, top 200 place in the GPP. Here's 2 ways to look at this. If you want to make sure if you had a good night or not a good night, it's really, really easy. If I only show my lineups, best one I got was 181st for 40 cents or something like that. I mean, big whoop. Yeah, 40 cents. So what? 250 in, 40 cents out. Okay, not profitable. But like a cash game, I got something back. I'm generally going to get something back. And maybe it's 40 cents, maybe it's $1.80, whatever, out of 250. And I can tread water like that. As long as I'm not losing everything every single step of the way, and I'm playing within my bankroll, then I can continue to grind up profit. And then occasionally, when you win one like that NASCAR race, that $10 prize, boom. Do you think that at $1.75 plus 250 in, let's just do the math. Let's just show it to you, and then we'll do the player pool. So $1.75 plus 250 is 425 in. 1187 plus 40 cents is 1227. So 1227 out minus, what did we say? 250 and $1.75 is 425. Is that what we said? Gotta hope so, because otherwise my math is really, my short-term memory is kicking in. Net profit of $8. Do I really care? I mean, so out of what, 425? So divide that by 425 again. 188% ROI. I mean, am I happy with that? Sure. Can I grind a bankroll on that? Sure. Maybe not a quarter at a time, but I can grind bankroll on that if we add a 0. Point is, by playing these multiple entry type contests, I think you set yourself up for some cash game success. Whereas you're not necessarily wanting to build chalky lineups, but some of your ideas just have to hit. And if some of your more contrarian ideas hit, it really, really works out. And if some of your, and it really and truly, like I didn't even know what I was doing with NASCAR because I was using a lot of the optimizer, liked a guy, loved a guy, whatever the player coaches liked. And I'm sure they were talking ownership and I didn't have the time to go in there and listen to them. But a lower ownership guy hit, bam, damn near the nuts, boom, in you go, you win, whatever it was, 300 people, you win. There's 2 tricks that I'm going to tell you that I am telling my VIPs right now. I'll tell you these 2 tricks, so grab a piece of paper. Number 1, smaller entry contests. Don't necessarily play the 10,000 person quarter event or the 8,000 person, single entry GPP. Smaller entry contests. Sometimes it's going to cost you more money to get into them, like $12 to play 49 people, but you can absolutely grind a bankroll that way. You've got to let go of it. If you are serious about this and you want to become a consistently winning player, you need to let go of the Millie Maker. You need to let go of the giant prize. You need to let go of the, I'm going to put in a quarter and win $1,000, because no, you're not. Because 9,999 people lose that contest every single day. And they are so top heavy that maybe the top 0.2% get 30% of the prize pool. And I'm starting to break this math down and show my VIPs. And prove to you that it is so top heavy, it is stupid to play in those things. Get into the things that are a little bit more spread out, that give you a 4% chance, a 3% chance at hitting the big money. You can build a top 5% lineup much easier than a top 0.2% lineup. It is just math. Put the math in your favor, understand the math, play to the math, and win. I'm not a genius. I just know basic math. And I can teach you that stuff too. But the main thing is we've got to get in those smaller contests where it makes sense. And I'm analyzing these things like I've never analyzed before. And I'm teaching our VIPs which ones to get into and which ones to get out of. And we're stacking the deck in our favor. And then we're going to throw a bunch of lineups in them, and we're going to start tearing it up. You can either be with us, or you can sit on the sidelines and watch us start winning. Because when I have these epiphanies, usually we turn them into something. I just wanted to show you, though, another way to evaluate this. And the way we evaluate this right here in determining did we do well or did we not is very, very simple. If we didn't make a bunch of cash in the top 20%, how do we do in terms of the top 50%? Kind of like the 50-50 marks, right? So out of 951 teams, that's 475. So 475th place. Oh, there's one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 10 lineups. Hello. Say we did all right if we were in cash games. 9 out of 10 lineups did all right. I'm in the top half of the field with 90% of what I did. But because I'm in the top half with 90% of what I did, the majority of the time, quite a few are going to make it into the top 20% as well. If you can build like that, if you can put 90% of your lineups in the top half, you're fundamentally sound. If you can put 90% of what you do in the top half, you're going to get into the top 30%, top 20%, top 10%. You're still not getting into the top 10th of 1%, but you'll get in the top 1% fairly often. And if you're lucky enough, you get into the top half of 1%, and boink, you hit yourself a little tournament for 10 bucks or so, and it repairs a lot of this 250 into 40-cent crap, you know. Or you could back all this with cash. You can do whatever you want to do. This is just stable enough you don't need to back it with cash. You can play just straight MME GPPs without backing it up with 50-50s, and that would be a dramatic shift from what I've preached for 4 or 5 years. And I'm not going to go full sail in that way, wholesale direction, and say you have to do this. Or it's better. I'm going to say it's the same. Play cash like we've always done with 2 or 3 lineups. Ladder them appropriately. Take shots at hybrid contests and small GPPs, which we've been talking about for a long time. Or MME. And I'm going to start teaching my people how to MME. All right? It's really not rocket science. So just dive on in and we'll figure it out over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever. And by mid-baseball season, we should be rocking and rolling, taking lots of shots at everything. So if you wanted baseball content, all that stuff, it's just, the link's in the comment section. You know what to do. So let me click out of these things. Let me bring up our favorite tool, the research station, because this only takes like 10 minutes. That's why I rambled for 10 minutes. And one player pool, that's what you sort by. Point guards. Let's do your point guards first. How many games we got today? A lot. 11. So we're going to kick down on the point guard. We're going to kick down on the point guards here. We're going to go top 7 or 8 dudes in the player pool, okay? Because we need to expand that net a little bit to give ourselves more options. Because if we're too tight and we get all the stud pricing up top, we've got no value sucked in with it. Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Ben Simmons, Kemba Walker, Mike Conley, Jeff Teague, Derrick Rose, Damian Lillard, Bryn Forbes. These guys should be on your list. Bryn Forbes, nice little drop candidate. He's got a solid matchup over a 10. Not a bad set of matchups. So if we come over to Bryn Forbes, value 5.2. 5.0 value is at Teague. 4.9 and Conley's okay. 5.2 outside shot at not Dragic, who's at Bledsoe. 4.9 at Peyton. 4.9 at Chris Dunn. 5.0 at Beverly. These would be your straight value plays. These would be your 2-star plays. Come over here, look for who's hot. Chris Paul, Steph Curry, 2-star plays. Jeff Teague, 2-star play. Whoop, I need to be able to see the value. Because Teague was one of the value plays. So Teague is also running a little bit hot. Teague might be a 3-star play today. Obviously, 1 star is great, or is good. 2 stars is great. 3 stars is kind of like a core play. Jeff Teague's a core play. That'd be interesting. But on paper, quite possibly a core play. Running a little bit hot here in Ben Simmons, too. I would look at him as a possible core play. But now 2-star, well, there's your core play in Bryn Forbes either. So there's maybe 3 point guards that are borderline core plays. And then Darren Fox is running hot. Not necessarily set to bring value today and not a strong and 1 matchup. So he'd just be like a hot GPP type of flyer play. 3.38 Colin Sexton, GPP type of flyer. Trae Young, GPP type of flyer. Okay? Easy peasy, am I right? It just doesn't take long to burn these down. What was that, 10 names that you can focus on and then circle a couple on your chart to really focus on? Big James Harden matchup today. That's great. Down, 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 down. Look at how deep this position goes. Woo! So we might be looking to pay down and take our value here at the shooting guard spot today and then pay up where we're a little bit scarce a little bit later. That's just an idea. going forward. But James Harden, Eric Gordon, D'Angelo Russell, DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, Wiggins, Waiters, Doncic, Wade, Middleton, about down to about here, right? And you could consider these guys. You want to consider Klay Thompson? Go for it. It's in a fine matchup. It's just not one of the premium matchups on the night. Let's look for the value. We don't even need to consider guys that don't hit the and one matchup, really. 5.1, I guess we could throw a Bazemore in there. But 5.4, good value out of LeVert. Good matchup. Solid matchup. 5.6 out of Brogdon. Solid matchup. Obviously, I would avoid Drew Holiday at 3.5 value. Ugh. Watch him go off tonight just because I said that. Jinx myself. 5.2 for each Dwayne Wade and Chris Middleton. A little higher matchup, two-star candidates. I mean, technically, these guys are even quite close to two-star candidates. 5.4 in Dion Waiters, drop score candidate. Nope, he's climbed up some. 30 points, 35 minutes. Okay. You can consider that being underpriced if he hits his projection. Two-star in D'Angelo Russell, possibly two-star in James Harden, because at this price, 11.4 or 12.5 on Fanduel, 4.9x value is pretty strong. Scroll over here where we can look at the value, and let's look for the hot. We see Gordon, not exactly bringing good value, but, not terrible. He's got a great matchup, though, so 2 stars. 2 stars on DeRozan, a little better value. 3 stars on Dion Waiters. Dion Waiters might be a core play. And at 5,500, maybe that brings enough value that you can get out of somewhere else and spend up a little bit. It's not really bringing a ton of value in terms of, a drop score candidate on FanDuel or something like that. Obviously. 3.5 on Drew Holiday, who is running hot. That's really interesting. Being a brand name, I don't even know how contrarian he would be. 7.39 out of Bazemore. Running hot, bringing value. Solid matchup, borderline core play, but I don't think I could ever call Kent Bazemore a core play. If I slide over just a smidge to the consistency rankings, then look at Bazemore, 60% of the time he hits 4x, only 50% of the times he hit 5x. It's up there with everybody else, though, in this category. 25% he hits 6x. That actually leads the category. So there, it's okay. I guess you've got a little bit of floor, and you've definitely got some upside with Bazemore right now. So again, you just reevaluate as you go. Sometimes you see something and you go, I wonder about this. Go look it up. This tool, the research station, has it. You just want to have control of it yourself. Instead of sitting here watching me steer the ship, wouldn't you like to grab the steering wheel? I know I would. Then I could filter these things, sort these things, play with all this stuff. Big matchups again, look, shallow position. Not very much in terms of the and one. It drops off pretty quickly. So this might be where I'm looking to pay up, although I've got a couple of cheap options in there. I would consider paying up, though, even with the cheaper options in here. 21's pretty strong out of Kevin Durant, Josh Richardson, Redick, LeBron James, Mirotic. Porter has the Q. Barnes, Gay, Batum. We're getting down into the single-digit matchups. Don't like them as much. Try and stay up here where I can. Josh Richardson, big value today, 2 stars. JJ Redick, possibly 2 stars. Now we're down just outside of the range. Although we're in the range with Mirotic at 11.6 and 5.6 value, 5.7 if Otto Porter plays. These are value plays. Borderline 2-star. Mirotic qualifies on paper as a 2-star. 4.8, 5.1 to Batum, meh. 7.6 way down here, drop score candidate, and Derek Jones, obviously a value and a drop score candidate. 27 minutes, if we can get word that he gets a little bit more. 26 points is fine. That's going to be somebody the Domination Station Optimizer is going to love today. And as a drop score, it's okay if you find another one to ping pong him with. Slide over this way to the hot stuff. Kevin Durant, low value, but big matchup, running hot lately. Definitely 2-star candidate. LeBron James, 2-star candidate, also running hot. Not bringing value at all, though. Probably prefer KD over LeBron. LeBron's probably the GPP pivot because if LeBron decides to flip the switch and play tonight, we know he can. Just take the game over and play. He doesn't usually do that this time of year. He kind of picks and chooses his spots. Oh, Gallinari, not value, but running hot. So we don't really have any 3-star core plays here. So we're going to have to stick with the 2-star guys. The 2-star guys being your Josh Richardsons, your Mirotic, whatever. Those guys are going to be the ones that you probably want to focus on tonight. It's just not rocket science. Build your lineup with as many of these types of guys in them as you can find, as you can put. Not exactly a deep position here either. Get down to about a Draymond Green type. So Aldridge, Harris, Davis, Randall, Olynyk. Ugh. All right. Taj, Saric, Draymond. Come down here into the value. And of course, Olynyk's going to bring value because he's cheap. 51, 5x out of Randall. 52, 5x out of LMA. Bigger value out of Ivan Rabb. Bam. Not seeing the minutes out of those two, though. I'd probably ignore them unless I get word later today that they're going to see a minutes bump. Probably be more focused. Damn. Unlike an Olynyk. If you can't tell, I'm not a big fan of Kelly O. He burns us more than he helps us. Not exactly a safe play. Let's look at his minutes here in a second. And his value and stuff. We'll look into Kelly here in a second. See if we can't turn our attitude into, turn that frown upside down. Randall, Aldridge. This one looks a little bit more wide open. It's just got a weird feel to it right now. Tobias Harris running hot. Taj running hot. See, Randall not. Taj is running hot. Where's silly Kelly right above him? Not running hot. I mean, you know, supposed to bring a bunch of value. He's not running hot. His 3-game fantasy points is 21. His 5-game is 21. Why the hell are we expecting? Why the hell are we expecting some, you know, number? What's the 24? Well, if he's averaging 21 and 24 brings us 5.4x, guess it's not going to kill you. If I look at his clock watch, his minutes are down. It's just bad indicators on Kelly. Bad indicators. 23 points last game out, or 23 minutes last game out. 24 minutes over the last 3. 24 over the last. So his minutes are very stable at 24 minutes. And we've got him projected at 28. Sorry, subtract 4 minutes. There's no reason to think he's going to get 28 minutes. Unless I'm not aware of some news or something. Just, that's a mistake. Somebody's high. Bump him down to 22 to 23 minutes and see what his value does. I bet his value drops off. In fact, what the hell? While we're here, let's play with it. 22, 23 minutes. Let's call it 23 minutes at 0.89. 23 times 0.89. 20 points. Yeah, right. 20 points at 4.6K. So divide that by 4.6. And now you're at 4.45 value. Go ahead, believe the 5.4. Turd trap! God! Hate it when machines do that. But that's where you got to be smarter than a machine. You got to recognize this crap up front. And you got to be able to go into the numbers, look at it quickly, and go, huh, wrong. Let every other sucker in the world fall for that shit. And here's the thing. If he pans out and hits that 5.4x or 6x, good for those people. We just proved mathematically they made a mistake. And when they make mistakes, we profit. Doesn't matter what the results are over the course of a season. How often would Kelly Olynyk have burned you? If he keeps showing up in projections and optimizers like this and you know differently and you can avoid it, let all the suckers take him. More times than not, they're going to lose and you have the advantage. That's how you win in this game. Man, that was fun. Let's go to the center spot and wrap it up. Hopefully you stuck around and got that piece. Cat, Hassan Whiteside, DeMarcus Cousins, Clint Capella, Valanciunas, Nurkic, Noah, Lopez. I mean, we're pretty deep again. You could even go down to a Drummond type almost. Looking at the value, you see Whiteside. Watch his game logs. He's up and down, of course. Boogie Cousins. Is that Valanciunas? Yes. I wouldn't probably do a Noah. Noah to the Noah. Brook Lopez, probably not. All the way down here to the Boban, nah. Maybe, maybe not. I'd probably be staying up here in these high 2-star, big matchups and 2-star value type stuff. And then I would come over here and I'd search for these guys in the hot or nots, and I would see, looks like DeMarcus Cousins is okay. Looks like Valanciunas is running really hot. Valanciunas' core play. High on the end one, high on the value, high on the hot. Noah's high on the hot, which is a little frightening because, again, I don't know enough about him right now. I haven't used him in a long, long time to really want to dig into him. And these guys down here are a little suspect. You know, you'd be stick to the guys that hit all of the categories that you're looking for. Formulate that system. Stick to your system for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Run it nightly, regardless. It says this, I trust my system. It says that, I trust my system. And watch the variance come and go. It will come and go. You'll have bad nights where you go, what the hell? They were all great on paper. And you'll have good nights where you're like, haha, paper said it. Believe me, it happens. And the less moving pieces you have in your process, the better off you are. That's why I am such a simpleton. I'm a minimalist. I'm a simplified guy. I don't need to go dig. You can see I can dig if I need to. But would that take me 20, 30 seconds? It doesn't take that long. I'm not doing it with everybody. And I've got my list cut down to probably 35 to 40 players. With at least one good drop score candidate. I can go find other drop score candidates. That's what our VIPs need. So if you like this type of content, like and subscribe to the channel. Use the coupon code SHOP, become a member, come inside the coaching forums, ask me questions. I'm always talking in there. I got a few articles to write tonight. I got a video or two to do today. It's going to be a busy, busy day. Keep watching the channel. Follow it, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. You'll get the videos instantaneously as they drop. Really do appreciate you guys following along, commenting, engaging out on Twitter, helping with March sweeps. If you don't know what that is, follow me out on Twitter at Chapadong. Go out and check my pinned tweet. You retweet it, I enter you into a sweepstakes to buy your membership in the DFS Army next month. Pretty simple process. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's have a big, big EV day. And let's go out and let's win some money. Take care, guys. Happy Monday.